Boom, lead in. One, two, three. Welcome to the Starting Over podcast. I am your host, Edward Shelton, aka Dark Logos, and this is where we look at the strategies, tactics, and mechanics of the game of HeroClix. Summer is approaching its end. We are entering the autumn season where jackets become that oh so comfortable thing that you want to wear, and you start to miss the heat just a little bit, and then you come to your senses. It's been cool in Kansas City and quite enjoyable. So I know there's a bunch of people out there that like the cooler weather. I am a gentleman that loves my 75 to 80 degree weather, little humidity. Yeah, that's just how it is. Let's do some, how can I put it? Let's do some minor housekeeping. I wish I had some cool sound or something or other to put there for you so it could sound cool while I say this. Anyway, here's what's going on. As I am recording this show, as you hear the clicks and tapping as normally on this show, I am trying to get everything to YouTube. The show will be on YouTube exclusively as soon as Blip closes my channel. So if you're going to look for me in the future, that's where it's going to be at. It's going to be on Starting Over podcast on YouTube. I might put a link in the show notes or whatever. I also might actually have to get a blog now. I know that sounds silly, like you'll have to get a blog. You know, most shows have a blog. All the cool ones do, and that's and in all honesty, the main reason I haven't gotten a blog is maintenance. I've after you go through so much stuff with a show, you get to that point where it's just like, I don't want to add another thing to what I am already doing, and that sort of becomes your, I hate to say it like this, it sort of becomes your excuse for doing things or not doing things. It's like, I got like a bazillion things to do. It's one of the main reasons why I don't have a Twitter account anymore. I also only had like 9 people on Twitter, so, there wasn't that many people there that showed up. So, anyway, sort of getting into the future of the show a little bit deeper, I am going to pretty much going to try to get some things lined up. Email me about anything that you want me to do, because at this stage I actually could seriously consider it. I know some people have asked me why don't I have a Facebook page. Again, it's time. It's also, you have to realize, like, again, people, work, people have other things that they have to do. I have hopefully eventually in the nearest future, I will be teaching a class, but I have to read some books to determine what my students will be reading. So that's eating some time. Also, Blip's being a jerk. So yeah, that's eating some time too. So give me some options. I can't say, whoop-de-doopy-doo. It's going to be there like the next show, but it might be something where I might have to add on to like long-term plans of saying like, oh shoot, we need to actually, try to do this because that's cool. Also be mindful, people that are on iTunes, that the iTunes link would be going away because it's based off a Blip, and then I'll be putting up a new iTunes link. I'm looking at other options for hosting the actual, it would be audio only, in all honesty. And for some of you would be like, yes, it makes my downloads that much smaller. And trust me, I'm dealing with the backlash of that right now, with just due to the fact of the show size. So yeah. So anyway, let's get on to it. Today's topic matter is 10th anniversary and why you're going to be broke. Uh, some people might look at, listen to that statement and say, like, Dark Logos, why are we going to be broke? Just pretty much, I hate to say it, it's almost just cheaper for you to drop $140, $200 and just get a complete set, minus the chases, you know. And I'm going to go into detail why, but I really have to say there isn't a lot of crap, and it's a lot of playability. So, without further ado, we're going to start looking at the DC 10th anniversary and then move on to Marvel. And the main reason we're going to do that is just to prove that I am not a Marvel fanboy. All right. Starting off, we have number one, Batman. He Battlefield promotes into a chase, which is sort of bull, but that's okay. 63 points for a 12 attack in cap, 2 targets, willpower and outwit with Batman team ability, Batman family keyword, Gotham City keyword, and Justice League keyword. Yes, may I please have 2? He's not that deep, 6 clicks, but you paid 63 points for him. Easy to hit defense-wise, but just offensively, quite a monster. Next up is Wonder Woman. Again, she promotes into a chase, which again is a bit bull. I don't like that. 84 points for a charged super strength brick with 4 damage. Now, she's very top heavy, and in all honesty, she's really a tribute to the icons Wonder Woman. I would tell you, consider her if you don't want to use Ben Grimm. I mean, not Ben Grimm, the Thing from Chaos War prize support. Also, I mean, we've had a whole lot of cheap bricks. I think also it's like Luke Cage. He's not that bad either. He's pretty much a little bit thicker when it comes to stats. So, anyway, 2 clicks of charge, 4 damage. She's a good Alpha Strike piece. A good little taxi at the end. So, not bad for the points. John Jones is beautiful, coming in at his lovely 90 points, having stealth, super strength, super senses, and perplex. 16 defense, a little bit low. We are starting to feel in this set, in their homages to older figures, they are giving them older figure defenses. So just sort of consider that on some of these clicks. Some of them are just like 5 times better in Super Baller, but being able to have stealth plus PDTA, in perplex, outwit, and then shape change, later dial is great. You see him become like a psychic blast, attacker in dial instead of beginning dial. Overall, we sort of see his evasiveness in the beginning and end of his dial, and his brick nature in the middle. For 90 points, and what in the for him to be able to go through Battlefield promotion, it's not bad. It's not bad. Anyway, going on, I would say, if you're going to play him, he's definitely going to help you on your Justice League teams. Because remember what we talked about previously with New 52. The problem with Justice League was you really didn't have a lot of cheapo or mid-range Justice League figures, and he definitely fills it in. Only regret I wish that he had was like Stormwatch keyword. That would give me a little bit of hope that we would get a Stormwatch Martian Manhunter. Oh well. Oh well. Next up is Green Lantern. sort of talked about him a little bit before. He's 145 points, indomitable. Uh, his stats are okay. His attack is really a tad bit disappointing, and he has a special power in Brightest Day, which is during your turn, hindering terrain within 6 squares of Green Lantern is considered clear terrain uh, for line of fire purposes. So that's sort of neat because Green Lantern can be used to reveal stealth figures for your other attackers. Another thing with his trait is Construct, which is probably where most of his points are really coming in at. As Green Lantern begins the game without the Construct, the Green Lantern can use Barrier. Okay, when he does attach a Construct to him after actions resolve, and he may make a close combat attack targeting a character adjacent to a square with a barrier marker in it as a free action. When the construct is attached, Green Lantern can use Energy Shield Deflection and Close Combat Expert. When Green Lantern takes damage or uses Close Combat Expert, remove the construct. Uh, Pretty much, you say, hey, guess what, guy in stealth? I put up barrier. Oh, okay. As soon as I put up barrier, I'm going to get my construct. Then, pretty much I'm going to now get a free action to punch you in the face. So overall, I think that it's going to be nice. You're going to see the use of him by using a very offensive placement of barrier. So it's not really used to separate your opponent and yourself. It's more so to say, like, oh, look, I can put up this wall, and yeah, I'm going to hit you. You can't shoot me, but I just punched the fire out of you. I do think that he has potential for abuse, but I don't think he's going to be major 300-point meta worthy just because of how low his stats are and how much you're paying for him. So, oh well, oh well. Next up is Brainiac coming in at number 4. Brainiac, in all honesty, is a very okay piece. Now, this is the rookie version in the comic. With all the figures that we've had come out, and unfortunately, Ultron from the the Gravity Feed and Chaos War really sort of put a stomping on just the overall thought process of using the Brainiac. But let's just look at his positives. The 8 range, not that bad. The flight is probably his biggest advantage. Not paying for Indomitable in the era of the Gauntlet might actually be a godsend because we do see stuff translated throughout the rest of his dial. But the problem comes in, he has Superman Enemy, which is ridiculously overcosted, and also considering that he has Outwit, also makes it ridiculously overcosted. And add in the fact, and I hate to say it, when you add in Pulse Wave, you pretty much have already neutralized their powers, and so now only thing that you're doing is just adding insult to injury. Anyway, I would say the best thing to think about is use of Brainiac. Overall, it's just a initial attacker in a larger point game. In a 300-point game, you're going to really be pushing it to utilize him fully. Maybe a robot team, maybe a scientist team. Armor, I think not. So that's mostly it. Moving on to Batgirl. Batgirl is 42 points of utility, definitely for your Batman and ally teams, mainly as a smoke cloud perplexer. Click 2 is her magic click, in which she frustrates your opponents. Team her up with Deadshot, and you have a wonderful nightmare for your opponent. Next up is Nightwing, and gosh, this dude is pretty baller. Charge, 11 attack, 3 damage. He also gets Perplex, close combat reflexes for most of his dial. Willpower sprinkled throughout. Well, it comes up twice. Flurry and Endile Outwit, Batman Ally Team Ability. I sort of wish he had Teen Titans, but that's okay. Bloodhaven, Detective, Gotham City, Martial Arts, and Police Keyword. Uh, oh gosh, he's pretty good. Uh, he has a plus symbol, movement indicating trait, which says he could just pretty much move through Henry terrain and opposing characters. So he just flips over people. So it pretty much he just has leap climb, and he can charge with his leap climb. So yeah. Next is his trait, a leader on any team. Nightwing is a wild card. Oh yeah. I can already think of some ways of abusing him. When you reveal your force, choose a friendly character's keyword. Nightwing possesses that keyword for the rest of the game. Hello, Nightwing. You just became a marauder. Nightwing can use leadership, but not only remove action tokens from the characters using a team ability that Nightwing, but only removes action tokens from characters using a team ability that Nightwing can use. So, you have to just copy that team ability, uh, which is sort of cool, but it doesn't hurt too much. His effectiveness is just you have to be on top of that at the beginning of your turn. But overall, Nightwing, super baller. He is the new Marauder Supreme. Sinister loves you oh so much. So do the Skrulls. Okay, going on. Catwoman. It's sad this is DC focused and I'm thinking of Marvel characters. All right, going on to Catwoman, number 8. Stealth, exploit, some willpower. Okay, not the greatest. 35 points. Her biggest advantage, she's just cheap. And she goes into that Batman family. And this is really like the Catwoman from like Earth 2 that ends up, I think she gets together with Bruce Wayne and they produce Huntress. I think that's really that Catwoman. But 6 clicks for 35 points, better than most henchmen that you're going to get. Not having not having outwit sort of does hurt, but think about how much it would break the game as... really, I can't say that with a straight face. Oh, how much cheap outwit have we had in this game? Oh well. Catwoman isn't in the lineage of Black Panther or Female Question. All right. Next up is Blue Beetle. And this one is just baller. And for all of the running shot Psychic Blast that we've had in the last 2 years, this is probably maybe number 5, number 6 on that top running shot Psychic Blast list. With probably, I would definitely say in my book with Archangel and not Earth Boy. Who is he? Sun Boy. Probably tying for first place. But this is excellent. Running shots, it's 2 clicks. He has Psychic Blast his first click, Pulse Wave his second. His Pulse Wave damage isn't really that good. He has a trait, the Scarab, the first time in a game when Blue Beetle would take 3 or more damage from an attack. Instead, he does not take damage and is given an action token. It can be very interesting how this plays out. I really do want to see how this plays out. Now, him having the Mystics team ability, I don't know if that's really accurate, considering that the Scarab is actually like it's like some sort of weird alien. It's like alien symbiote thing. I don't really think it's magic, but oh well, he's Mystics. He gives you that feedback, son. Then you have Scarab Awakened. At the beginning of your turn, roll a d6 on a result of a 5 through 6 until your next turn. Blue Beetle modifies his attack value by +2, can use Blaze Call's Fangs, and possesses Battle Fury. This can be suck And the reason why this can be suck is A, this is not optional. You have to roll for this. B, uh, the getting blades with a 12 or a 13 attack is awesome, but having just having no ability to really get there um, is what really hurts. And losing your ranged options at that stage with him, that's just bad. And then worst part is that he can't be a pilot that's worth his salt, because let's say you really need him to get in the car that turn, boom, he has to roll. Now, I don't think if he's off map, if he can roll for that. That's something for the rules forums. Next is a special power, dimensional perception. Blue Beetle can use probability control, but only for attack rolls where he is the attacker or a target of the attack. So that's pretty cool. He can prop his own rolls, so not bad to tall. Next up is the Flash. This is Wally, I think, and they finally gave him what he needed to be broken. He ignores. Oh well, actually, I was thinking the wrong thing. He has his movement, which pretty much says the Flash moves, ignores hindering terrain, and then he gets a special power so fast you don't see the hits. The Flash can use charge and flurry. When the Flash uses charge, he can use exploit weakness, which can be pretty cool. He can always sort of do damage. Mach 3 punch, damage dealt by the Flash cannot be reduced below 1. Now, he gets that on the second click, so it's sort of worth pushing unless you need the perplex. But he's not the best Flash that we've had in the last year and a half, maybe even 2. He's good, but he's not the best. I would still say the new 52 Flash that we got is excellent, like just for point wise and effectiveness. But this Flash isn't bad. I would definitely say, like, on your checklist, you probably want to make sure that you can trade for him. Then good, but if you need to trade them, don't feel bad. There's better Flashes, and then the only thing that is sort of nice is he has Teen Titans keyword. So if you really are a big Teen Titans fan, then there you go. Next up is Green Lantern, who is, I think it's, I was about to say Barry Allen, but that's not correct. Anyway, next up is Green Lantern with the Justice Society. This is Alan Scott. Oh gosh, I knew there was an Alan in there somewhere. Running shot, 18 defense, range combat expert, 3 damage, 11 attack. Yes, sir. May I please have more of that? Pretty much his first 2 clicks are hyper offensive. The barrier is sort of okay. Getting the charge and close combat expert is hilarious. He's like, desperate actions. I would definitely say that this is probably going to be the equivalent of Winter Soldier for the meta. Being able to drop 5 on your opponent just because you got TK'd is awesome. Then let's be honest. You have TKer and someone that can fill that primary or secondary attacker role. So you have very decent support with offensive capabilities. And remember what we were talking about a couple episodes ago, which I was talking about TK and about why people don't really think offensively about TK, because it's usually we TK to deploy. We don't ever TK to retreat or move side to side. We don't usually think like that. With this Green Lantern, you can TK up someone, but then you also can be the target of TK. You want to keep him in the fight, and then also after he TKs, he can make up that space and be offensive as he's making up space. So he's not left behind in the background. And then also, if you want to promote into the other Green Lantern, go ahead. But I think you're just wasting your points. You're giving points to your opponent because the barrier punch is cool. Let me not front. The barrier punch is cool, but it's not that good. I wouldn't trade. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't trade the offense for barrier punch. Now, unless you're like near your end of your dial and you just want to like extend your dial life, then yeah, do that. But if you had a choice, you're better off with Allen. Unfortunately, when the torch was passed, someone threw water on it and it went out. Need to go back to Olympic Stadium. Okay. Going on, Brainiac. Hypercharged chair Brainiac. One thing WizKids did when they started this is when they showed us Brainiac and Worldbreaker. There I go mentioning Marvel figures again. They showed us huge point figures that defy our minds of, oh my gosh, how did you design such an abomination unto the game? Please let me have 5 of them. Brainiac, in my opinion, is close to that. Now, starting off with I'm going to look at his 350 point dial, and then we're going to look at the 175, and then we're just going to have, some minor conversations on that. With his 350 point dial, being able to start with Master Manipulator, and him saying, you can use Perplex, and when he does, he can only target friendly characters, and they can be anywhere on the map. For you to just say, like, I'm in the starting area like Professor X, and I Perplex. Yeah, there you go. I just Perplex. What's also sort of suck is by him having Earthbound, you do not get Indomitable, so don't let your opponents get off on that. But it does allow him easily to push and be mindful of that. For 350 points, you're losing complete offensive capabilities for a gimmick. Now, with that being said, you're talking about a 2,000 point game before that gimmick is actually worth something. And then also in scale, probably when you actually look at realistic applications, when you're going to need it, it's going to be in game, not so much mid game. So this power really, in all honesty, is a bonus and a hindrance for you getting back to top dial after you're healed from your medic. So you can think about it like that. All right, let's look at his trait. Impossible to plan against opposing forces subtract 1 from their action total, if not reduced by any other effect. So you're a 1,000 point game, you have 9 actions. You're in a 300 point game, you have 2 actions. That actually can mess up people. And for him, not to have that trait at 175, I can understand why they did that, because at 350, he's pretty much your team. But to limit your opponent that much it can be difficult, definitely if they don't have leadership. Next up is My Ship and I Are One. Brainiac. Give Brainiac a double power action. Place him in any square within his speed value, which is 12, which means he can just port anywhere. After the action resolve, you may give Brainiac a close combat action or ranged combat action as a free action. So pretty much he has a 12 move running shot or a 12 move charge. That can be ridiculous for positioning wise. I'm sort of glad if he had Pulse Wave, he couldn't use Pulse Wave anyway. But just being able to get wherever he needs to, at the cost of him having to clear next turn, can be quite interesting. His defensive power is, I'll show you Impervious. Brainiac can use Impervious when turning the dial. If this click is revealed due to damage taken from an opponent's attack, stop turning the dial. This power cannot be countered or ignored. So pretty much you're not going to pulse wave him through. And you are not going to, how can I put it nicely? You're not going to slug it out with him. You're pretty much going to have someone say 3 damage, 3 damage, 3 damage. Okay, now I Psychic Blast or Pulse Wave you. That for paying for that 350, they make it nice and slow for your opponent to go through those 3 clicks. Since you're paying so much for that first click. So overall, I mean, what we can see is that pretty much he's designed to be a melee fighter. Now, I also will say is they did a good job because they didn't give him Outwit. Thank you, WizKids, that they didn't give him Outwit, because now you can actually team him up with Superman enemies and they can actually do something. So, again, 350-point version, very awesome. When we start looking at the 175-point version, well, the main thing that we see is that we're not really getting a lot of the cool powers before we don't get the trait. But the Ship and I are one, that 7 movement, could be interesting if he could have used Close Combat Expert at the end of it, but he can't, so that's fine. Having Charge and Psychic Blast on click 5, what would be click 5, is not bad, but it still can be a bit of a problem. Overall, he reduces lots of damage. His attack values are very stable, and his damage values are very stable. So overall, strong consideration for your meta play. Him at 100 points, I'll just drop this real quick. Him at 100 points is not worth it, mainly because by the time he does what he's supposed to do, he's most likely going to be dead. He's just not deep enough. At 175, he has 7 clicks, and then you drop down, and he goes down to at 100 points. Losing those 3 clicks really hurts. So definitely look at him at that 175 point if you're actually needing him on an economic scale. 350 for large fun games, but know where you're going. Next up is Lex Luthor, and we're going to we see something quite silly here. We see lamp abuse, but we also don't have the ability to make sure that he stays primed, if you know what I mean. Being able to use poison with leadership is nice. If he had some form of saying, hey, guess what? My poison is penetrating Superman, then yeah, it can. Then we would have something. We would have something awesome. But we don't. Having Outwit with Superman enemy, I don't know why they do that. That is, they need to either make an ATA for Superman enemy, or they need to just go ahead and change the power, because as it is now, it is too expensive for what it does. Overall, I would say, hey, yeah, just carry this guy around, poison people. He can take tokens off his taxi, or he can push to perplex, so that he can just perplex his taxi or perplex himself as he just punches people. But overall, not a bad Lex Luthor. A lot more tactical, a lot more villainous. His promotion, I would actually say, is worth it. So, yeah, I would actually have him attack. So having him being on a poison taxi, and probably with the gauntlet too. I actually, this is like the first one. The more and more I think about it, the more and more I realize like he could be a monster if he had like the right taxi, and him and Lockjaw and Fuzzball could be like a great pair of friends, or a love triangle, depending on how you want to look at it. Next up is Robin, and it's sort of funny when you have a figure that's higher rarity that Battlefield promotes to a figure of lower rarity, which is sort of amusing. Overall, this Robin is, hey, buddy, let me help you out. With the 4 clicks of enhancement, the end cap, the leap climb, Batman Ally TA. Um, Overall, it's not bad. The willpower up front makes it really easy for him to get around, so you don't always have to carry him. But this Robin is playing backup. Uh, you know, get him if you like him. And moving on to Catwoman, behold, the meta for it now revolves around her finger. Bad luck when I cross your path. Other characters within 6 squares of Catwoman assigned a relic or a resource can't use the effects of the relic or resource. That's just for her showing up to the party, people. Um, Now, I will also say this. People haven't really commented on this fact, but it just says other characters. It does not include herself, which means that she can have a relic or she can have a resource dial, and it won't affect her. But it also means that on your team, if they have a relic or have a resource dial and they are within 6, it can shut your own stuff down. So you have to be very, very careful with your placement when you're using Catwoman. Close combat expert, okay. Her 2 range, okay. Super senses, keeping her alive up front, but once she gets off of that, her defensive options are really not that stellar. Regen, last click, can't really depend on it, but it is a nice touch. Her burglar power, Catwoman can use leap, climb, and stealth, is sort of nice so that you don't have to use her calculator ability to copy Batman, Ally, or Marvel Knights ATA. The best part I do think with it is just if she could copy scrolls. Not Mystics, Scrolls. You don't want her to get hit. And Mystics is a minor deterrent, but let's be honest, the way things are going, everyone's packing Running Shot, Pulse Wave. And I know you're going to say, like, well, Scrolls doesn't do anything against that. But just trying to keep in mind that your opponent is going to hunt Catwoman down. So you need to think of ways from ATAs or just plain team building, how you're going to keep her alive and how you're going to use relics on your team and make sure that she doesn't, mess you over and pretty much rob you of your victory. Oh, bad joke. Okay. Moving on to Blue Beetle. I think this is Ted Cord. 55 points of fun. And as soon as I figure out how to get 3 Bruce Banners to work with him and on a effective level, I will have a high-level meta team. But until that day comes, it's just a bunch of fun. Sharpshooter with energy explosion. Please email me how to exploit this. I'm thinking some form of Green Lantern combo, maybe. Green Lantern carrying Blue Beetle around with 3. With 3 Bruce Banners. Yeah, that's gonna be cool. Oracle. No. I can't really talk on her. She doesn't help. She just doesn't help. And yes, she can be support for Justice League teams, but at 73 points, we have better options now. Madame Xandu does more than than Oracle does. John Constantine does more than what Oracle does. So, no. I cannot support her. Next up is the Flash. Team him up with the Superman Flash duo from Brave and the Bold, and you're going to have a fun, good time. But also, what's funny is it's one of those things where it makes you think about point formulas. Is because this Flash is almost exactly the same as the Flash from the first time Jay Garrick showed up, but he doesn't have like a 20 movement, because I know that one had like a 20 movement on one of them. And I think they're about the same length, but he's cheaper. This one's cheaper. So I don't know what happened, but 1 perplex on damage, 1 perplex on attack, and go to town. I do think the Flash from the New 52, I think when you compare them, you'll find that you're probably going to go with the Flash from the New 52, more so than not. But I mean, not on your Um, Not on your JSA teams, of course, but just I'm looking at them sort of side by side. That new flash at 88 points with the Justice League, TA 7 clicks deep versus 6 clicks deep. The movements are comparable, even though they're slightly lower for the new 52 Flash. But you have defensive options with the Wally Flash from New 52 that you don't have with Jay Garrick. So if you get them, trade them or keep them for your JSA teams. That 18 mobile 18 is nice, but not. I'm not going to say it's on a guaranteed buy list. Next up is Martian Manhunter. Uh, Lots of fun. Embracing My Heritage, which Martian Manhunter has 0 action tokens. He can use Shape Change, which I think is sort of bull crap. He should always have Shape Change, but I guess that made him cheaper. Who knows? Martian Physiology. Martian Manhunter can use Stealth and Charge. This is his movement power. When Martian Manhunter uses Charge, he can ignore blocking terrain as he moves. This, sir, is what you call baller. Because the fact that he can charge through a wall and hit a dude, that is awesome. With super strength, and you have perplex. Now, I will say this: he might not be high end meta, but by far, he is one of the figures that is going to be easy to abuse indoor maps. If you thought the jail was a pain before when you were dealing with Captain America, Hammer Thor, Captain America, well, wait until you deal with Martian Manhunter. At 170 points, I think is great. His damage power, I see the attack in your mind. Martian Manhunter can use super senses. He gets that when he has invulnerability, and he also gets it when he has toughness, which pretty much just says, hey, guess what? To an extent, I'm still impervious. So, I mean, overall, it's good. He gets the Psychic Blast, and he gets the Mind Control. And N-Dot Hypersonic Speed is just sort of like a mildly nice touch. Justice League TA and Police TA really aren't serving him, that much of an advantage. Coming in at 100 points, probably some of the best 100 points that you can get, because he starts off with that Psychic Blast. I have Super Senses combo, and he is excellent support because you can carry your main attackers into range. If he takes damage, he's either going into charging through walls or hypersonic speed. So you don't really lose. You don't lose. So Martian Manhunter, definitely on the try to get a hold of him list. Next up is Lex Luthor. And Lex Luthor, and this is number 20 Lex Luthor, and he brings a smile to my face because it's battle armor Lex Luthor. He starts in at 160 points. He has his trait, part of my personal inventory. Once per game, give Lex Luthor a power action to place a special object whose name includes kryptonite from outside the game into an adjacent square. Now, this can be hilarious because he can bring red kryptonite in, or X kryptonite in, or what was that kryptonite that stops Pulse Wave and Psychic Blast? He just the fact that he can bring it in next to him for free. It's just beautiful. So it's one of those things where you have to watch out with Lex Luthor on the field. Definitely if he Battlefield promotes into this Lex Luthor. The previous Lex Luthor Battlefield promotes into this one. Next up, we have Boom Tube Sneak Attack. Lex Luthor can use Phasing Teleport. When he does, after action resolved, if he moved half his speed value or less, he may be given a ranged combat action as a free action. We saw this previously, I was about to say with Captain Planet, with Quasar. For those who watched Captain Planet, you can see why I could think Quasar is Captain Planet, minus the cape, mind you. But like the armbands and just the general look, and oh well. Stuff from the 80s when we were afraid of the Russians. Now we're afraid of the Chinese. So My hatred will never die. Alien. Lex Luthor deals penetrating damage to characters that possess these Superman ally team ability, or the Kryptonian keyword. This is a little bit irritating. What it does do is just say like, oh look, Lex Luthor has technically Psychic Blast for 5 clicks at a discounted rate, but in all honesty, it's just sort of crap. Because if you're not dealing against Superman or a Kryptonian, guess what? You're paying for it, and it doesn't do you any good. Now this is one of those like WizKids trying to give a silver bullet to common Superman, and also the Fast Forces Superman, Fast Forces Supergirl, Kryptonian Renegade, normal Supergirl. Come to think of it, that's a lot of figures. That is really a lot of figures. So, yes, it can be useful if, in your meta, the average guy is playing common Superman every week, but overall, not as much. They didn't screw him over, and they gave him a calculator team ability, which means wildcard abuse. There's tons of goodness that he can do. His lower point value at 100 points, I just have to say that's just wonderful. Yeah, you're not getting any, Psychic Blast or anything awesome. Or like Boom Tubas. You get your Boom Tube attack at the end. But that's fine. Just leave that alone. You're also not getting your trait. That's fine. Just leave that alone. What you are getting is a charge attacker that can do 4 damage with 11 attack and has 6 range. Now, I will also say it makes you really look closely at Superman's Black Adam. And I know you might be saying, well, man, you're just giving big up to your boy George. But no, literally, if you look at Black Adam versus Lex Luthor in that same point cost range, you're almost better off with Black Adam just because of how much farther you can get with his charge. But the attack value is better with Lex Luthor. Okay, I would definitely say Lex Luthor is on the buy list. If not for anything, it's just the fact that when's the last time that we had a serious competitive battle-worthy Lex Luthor? It's been years, people. Years. Next up is Superman, number 21. And this Superman is a testament, from my friends who tell me, to KC Superman. The Superman that we never... I ended up paying $50 for mine. I never pulled one. I just had to. I had to have them. It was $50, and the Crisis one came out, so guy was looking to unload inventory. He starts off with charge and leadership, 12 attack, 4 damage, impervious, and he can battlefield promote into what I will call frustration, but I will leave that alone for right now. Hypersonic speed for 3 clicks, then Force Blast. He has full dial super strength. Range combat expert on clicks 2 and 3. You're not using it with your hypersonic speed, but that doesn't. You don't care. You're paying 131 points for a death machine, and he has hyper time ability, so Lex Luthor doesn't hurt him at all. He has. Well, no, he does because he has Kryptonian keyword. So you have Future, Justice League, Kryptonian keyword, Metropolis, Reporter. Wow. Just wow. Play it. Get it. Probably going to cost you $20 on eBay. What else can I say? Next up is Wonder Woman. Charge, exploit. And now note, these are like Blackest Night, Black Lantern Corps figures, and these are chases, which is sort of BS. When you have 3 chases in a set of 21, that's not nice, WizKids. But you have chases. Wonder Woman, charge, exploit weakness, indomitable, empowered by battle whenever opponent character within 4 squares rolls a 1 or a 2. For super senses, you may heal Wonder Woman 1 damage. Very situational. Very situational. One click of regen, steal energy at the end of the dial. Black Lasso, which is sort of cool. Pretty much it allows her to use end cap. But if there's a figure, I think it's within 6 range, if she hits, she can bring that character adjacent to her and do a melee attack for free, and well, do an attack for free. So it can be nice if she's carrying an object, but whenever she has that power, she has super strength, blades, or steel energy. So, and yeah, so it could be okay. Overall, if you get her, great for you. If not, okay. Next up is Batman. Empowered by deception, when an opposing character within 4 squares rolls 1 or 2 for shape change, you may heal Batman of 1 damage. That's sort of stupid for how close you have to be. He has a 3 range, 89 points, perplex, uh, indomitable, toughness, and some super senses, some outwit, but he was controlled by Necron. But anyway, blades and poison, endowed regen, some combat reflexes, and exploit. Really not too much to see. Yes, he does rise. He has rise, which gives him stealth and leap climb and rain of black rings, and Batman can use pulse wave as if he had a range value of 8. When he does, friendly characters that share a keyword with Batman reduce damage dealt to them to 0. So he just pretty much just says, oh, guess what? I pulse waved. I don't hurt my allies because I share a keyword with you. And I just did X damage to whoever was nearby. So, yeah, I mean, he can be taxied around to, next turn pulse wave, which could be sort of cool, and it could be a single target pulse wave or hits everyone. But, I don't think it's the greatest. Next up is Superman, which is empowered by despair. Whenever opposing character rolls 1 or 2 for leadership, you may heal Superman 1 damage. Very circumstantial, even though leadership is more common, but it's very circumstantial. Now, if you were able to do like a seal, like within the set, then yeah, it can be sort of cool. You fight me as if I live. Superman can use regeneration and toughness. This power can be countered. At the end of the dial, that's pretty cool. Having some hypersonic speed sprinkled throughout, mainly charge. He only gets bad on his last click. If you pull one, great. If not, okay. 170 points, he's moderate. So wrapping up this first part, and yeah, it's almost an hour. So it's just like a normal show. Looking at DC 10th anniversary. And here's my buy list for you. First is number 1, Common Batman. Number 2 is Common John Jones. Next up is Batgirl. After Batgirl is number 7, Nightwing. Then number 9, Blue Beetle. Green Lantern. Alan Scott coming in at with his number being 11. Lex Luthor, both versions, 13 and 20. Catwoman, coming in number 15, the one that negates team relics and resource dials. Martian Manhunter, number 19. Lex Luthor, I already said Lex Luthor, and Superman, number 131. Sorry, number 21 at 131 points. All right. If you are not interested in the Marvel 10th anniversary analysis, I will see you next episode. If you are a Marvel fan and you were like, I sat through all of this, Dark Logos, man, I do not like the cut of your jib. I'm sorry, and I will have a show for you coming up next. All right, that's it. See you in a few moments. Lead out. 1, 2, 3.